It's and welcome back to the Jake Hicks Show. And today, something a little bit different. He is a candidate. He's a candidate for State Democratic Executive Committee, as am I. We're in different districts. My guest is Hanu, and Hanu's going to talk about his American journey, and he's also going to talk about a very dangerous bill that has been pre-filed in the Alabama legislature. Hello, Hanu.
Hi, Jake.
Tell us a little about your self and your journey to the United States.
Yes, thank you for having me. So, my journey from India actually started with my wife. I followed my wife. My wife used to work in India for a Madison-based company. I mean, if I can tell the name, if it is okay, I can say the name. And it used to be Intergraph. So, and those days, Intergraph had its abroad headquarters in India. So in around 26 years ago, she was asked, to move here, not for same company, but because Intergraph sold one of its the mechanical divisions to another company, and then it was bought by EDS. If you remember EDS, it was Ross Perot's company those days. So they bought it, and that's how, so she was asked to move here, and then we debated whether we should move to the United States because I was having my own small businesses over there. And then we decided, okay, let's move there. She used to come on business trips before we moved here. So she knew the place. In 90s, she used to visit on business trips. So then she said, yeah, that place is small, we can easily manage. So then we decided to move here.
Well, thank you for that, and we're glad to have you in the great state of Alabama. Although some of our political leaders seem to demonize those who want to move to the United States and become citizens. So, what Hanu, a big project he has got going on right now is about SB 21. This is a bill that's been pre-filed in the Alabama legislature. And what this bill would do is this is not banning non-citizens from holding office. In the United States, if you're not a citizen, you cannot hold elected office. This is targeting naturalized citizens, and it would prevent them from holding any office in the state of Alabama that is specifically mentioned in the Alabama Constitution. And someone may think, well, oh, this is governor, lieutenant governor, positions like that. Those are included, but it goes all the way down to the local level and ceremonial positions like constable in counties that still have the constable in Alabama. Really slamming the door of government shut to naturalized citizens. Hanu, why don't you tell us a little more about this and your involvement in preventing this bill from seeing the light of day?
Yeah, first time when I heard about this bill, I, I mean, I didn't know what to say, but I was really really upset. I got the news around 9:30 in the night. I think it was on October 27th. One of our Democratic Party friends, she called me, and she messaged me and she said, Hanu, did you see this? So then she shared that news from WSFA. So I read it, and I was actually, honestly, I was angry too. That really motivated. Then immediately I thought, well, it looks like this is my calling. I have to fight back. I have to defend the Constitution. So what this bill does is, they have, like I said, they have pre-filed the bill. So next this Tuesday, the session is starting, and it is going to come up. So if this bill passes, it will be on the ballot in November, along with the general election. So that will give the voters to decide if they want to consider naturalized citizens as equal citizens. So what this bill is basically, they're trying to create second-class citizenship, and in another way, it is a caste system that they are going to create.
Um, I when I first heard about this bill, I believe it was a day or two after that. I couldn't believe it because, from my understanding, um, the no state has this in their state constitution. None. This is an outlier. And no state has even proposed an amendment to their constitution like this within 120 years. I mean, this is a very radical proposal. One of the things when I've heard you talk about it, you talk about its violation of the Equal Protection Clause.
Yes, yeah, it definitely violates the 14th Amendment. So the 14th Amendment doesn't waffle. It clearly says whether you're a natural born citizen or a naturalized citizen, um, there is only one citizenship. It's equal citizenship. We are all equal. There is no second class or third class citizenship.
And another thing that I think people need to really think about this bill, those who may be on the fence, those who may be leaning towards supporting it, if you are shut out from holding governmental positions, you have no voice. You may have the vote, but they have no fear of you. And that really is going to be detrimental to Alabama citizens who are naturalized. Um, and my fear is that eventually it's not just going to end at naturalized citizens. They're going to go after people who weren't born in Alabama. They may say, well, unless you were born in the state of Alabama, you cannot hold these positions. Why don't you
Yeah.
tell us a little about who is sponsoring the bill and possibly their motivations behind sponsoring it?
Well, I think this all started with either arm twisting or pressure from the one of the lieutenant governor candidates, Wes Allen, who is the current Secretary of State of Alabama. Um, so when these people, the supermajority and Wes Allen, they started seeing Mayor Mamdani winning in New York City. They thought, Mamdanis were going to come to Alabama. So that was really a stupid reason. And so Wes Allen asked a couple of his friends in the legislature to file this bill. Um, so there's one senator and I think one state house representative filed this bill. But let me say another thing. This is not about any individual or party. It affects everyone. Let's think about some of the current day, the 21st century naturalized citizens. Some of the Alabamians adopt children from abroad. There are Alabamians who have adopted children, and they have grown. Some of them are into the colleges, high schools, and they've grown up. So in a way that they're also going to be treated as second class citizens. Even children who are being adopted, when they come here and become natural citizens, they too are going to be considered as second class citizens. So that is absolutely unacceptable. It is un-American, and I think it is unconstitutional.
Um, Talking about naturalized citizens who have achieved political office, Governor Schwarzenegger in California is a naturalized citizen. Governor of Granholm of Michigan, who served in Joe Biden's cabinet, are two examples I can think of off the top of my head in my lifetime who have served as governors and decent governors of states. I think Governor Granholm did a good job. I'm not sure about Arnold, but that's more my partisanship showing with Arnie than anything.
Yeah,
Talk.
I'm sorry. So, and my good friend, I call him my good friend, Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy. He is a naturalized citizen. So he's a congressman from Illinois, and he's running for U.S. Senate now. He's one of the leading Democratic candidates for U.S. Senate. And
I saw
and yeah,
I saw a poll yesterday that he's leading. Um,
okay, yeah, that's great news. Yes, yeah, I went to his on the very first day of his inauguration. Last year in January. So there is another example from Ohio on the other side, on the Republican side. The senator who replaced Vice President J.D. Vance, I think his name is
Bernie
Dan
Moreno.
Marino.
Yes, Bernie
Yeah,
Moreno.
yes. So he said, he's a Colombian American. He was born in Colombia. He moved to the United States when he was 18 years old. And now he's filing a bill to ban dual citizenships or triple citizenships. But in my case, that's not a problem. We don't have any dual citizenship. I'm I'm
Um,
I'm only a US citizen.
and another example, Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley are the sons and daughters of first generation immigrants. I mean, there's examples there. Um,
Yeah.
and it is my understanding that the gentleman that is sponsoring it in the State House is running for the United States House of Representatives. And his biggest backer, this may shock people outside of Alabama, because they, outside of the Alabama, view her as Miss Moderate and, happy-go-lucky, is Miss Katie Britt. Um, but in Alabama, we know the truth that she's just as radical as the others and puts on a happy face on national TV.
Yes, I think Senator Britt donated, I don't know, maybe 10 or $20,000 to his campaign. I may have shared it on my Facebook feed sometime back. Yeah, and again, this is so what Alabama is trying to do with this, not Alabama, the supermajority, the Republican supermajority in Montgomery, Alabama, is trying to make this a test case for other states to follow, other some of the other crazy stuff states to follow Alabama. And if I may, Alabama always likes to be number one in stupidity. I mean,
Um,
that's what
they
Yeah.
They were one of the states that began to get the ball rolling on eliminating access to abortion when they passed our total abortion ban back in 2019.
Yes.
So let's talk about your race for a moment. You're running for state Democratic Executive Committee, as am I. You're running, I believe, in District 4.
Yes.
And I am running in District 23. Um, one of the things that I want to see is the party adhere to proper procedure and proper rules at its meeting. What is your goal to see?
Yeah, in terms of SDEC, the State Democratic Executive Committee, I was elected in 2018. I served on the committee for 4 years. I was the first member of SDEC to form Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, Hawaiian caucus. So then I took a break. So now I'm running again. So I think we need we need more energy in the Alabama Democratic Party. Definitely, we need a lot of unity. So parties should not fight amongst their own members. So we're all a big tent family. So that's one of the things. And I want to give some break some news for you this afternoon. And I am actually running for Alabama State House District 4 as a State House representative.
That is amazing. I am glad to hear that. I know that you had spoken to me about possibly doing that, and I am glad to hear that. Besides defeating SB, 21, um, which you would have to overcome, if it, God forbid, it passes and you were to be elected, what issues would you like to focus on in the legislature? Like, what's one big thing that you see in your district you would like to improve or focus on?
Yeah, first of all, my district desperately needs new leadership. A leadership that focuses on the real issues that matter to my district, not on these divisive issues like creating second-class agentships. What I call they're basically my opponent, um, Parker Moore, the incumbent. So he's one of the supermajority supporters. And he didn't even bother to reply my email that I sent about 8 weeks ago, asking him to reject this bill immediately, even before it goes to the committee. He didn't even respond to my email. That's how we know these people treat their own constituents. So we need definitely new leadership that focuses on the real issues such as affordability, tax reform, and more importantly, the traffic conditions in North Alabama, because this is one of the fastest growing areas. And Montgomery treats this North Alabama region as their piggy bank, not as strategic partners. So I don't know. They may be Montgomery may be taking more money from North Alabama and giving less money back for our infrastructure, for our schools, for environmental protection. So things like that.
I had Candace on, who is running for the United States House of Representatives. In my is Are you in District 5? Or are you in 4?
I'm in District 5.
Okay.
I live in
Uh,
Madison City, on the west side of County Line Road, which is in Limestone County.
I know in some parts of that area it kind of gets confusing because of how they draw the lines. But she was saying that the issue that voters are bringing up to her as the most important issue is traffic. And I did not realize how bad the traffic situation was over in Huntsville and in Madison. Um, the way she talked, it is absolutely outrageous, how bad traffic is getting in that area.
Yeah, and it also, wastes a lot of our resources. Per year, I think there were some studies. The traffic jams or traffic bottlenecks in an average city like a city like Madison itself costs about $1,000
Oh my
per
God.
car in terms of gasoline. So that's the money that is taken out of our economy, right? So people don't understand. Sometime back, one of the city council members, so he's no longer a council member now. So he used to say when I was asking him about complaining him about the traffic, telling him about improving the roads. He said, oh, no, that's okay. I mean, people can sit in their car for like, 10, 15 minutes, not a big deal because we don't have the traffic all day, only during peak hours. So that was the kind of, mentality some of these folks have in this area. So yeah, she's absolutely right. Traffic is one of the problems. That speaks to the quality of life. That is one of the components of quality of life. One of the factors. So if you're sitting in the car or your truck more than you're supposed to be sitting in, that really affects, everything else.
Talking about, the $1,000 that they take out of the economy, they spend that $1,000 on gas. That's not $1,000 they're spending at a local shopping center. That's not $1,000 they're spending on a night on the town. Um, and talking about the time spent in the car, that's time spent away from family and time spent away from friends. It has a real cost. And I think if you probably talk to people in a large city like Atlanta, they would definitely say that time in traffic is real wasted time. And we are only getting a small taste of it in this area.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have to be innovative. We have to bring in some new ideas how to tackle the traffic. Some big cities around the world have different timings. For people to go to work. So maybe that's a kind of staggered thing that we may have to think about it. I don't know how the schools can handle that. That is another issue. And speaking about schools, schools are getting crowded. Now there is an attack on education department. These people talk big game about helping education, but they're not really doing anything. The supermajority Republicans. Um, they are in fact supporting what is happening in Washington D.C. to abolish the education department, to cut funding for different uh, programs in education. So that is another problem. So we have to have funding for education too.
Um, one of the things that I often like to ask candidates is, what do you believe is an issue that is not getting enough attention that's going to be a major issue in 5 to 10 years that you would like to help solve?
Yeah, I think education. We are getting behind, education, and with the AI technology that is booming around the world, and other countries are in a position to take the lead, and uh, they are sprinting ahead of us. So if you don't focus on good education, and if you don't support our own schools, and more importantly the public schools, so the talent can be anywhere. It's not confined, or it's not a monopoly of any specific zip code. The talent can live in underserved areas. Talent can come up anywhere. I mean, just think about a flower. The flower in a pond, even if it is a green dirty pond, a nice flower that comes up, that's the kind of thing. You can find talent anywhere, and we have to build that gap in providing educational fund to schools, not just schools in specific, high income zip codes.
What I know you said you just announced today. What would be your message to Republicans in your district to possibly, support you over a candidate they have supported in the past?
Yeah, first, this is one major issue, trying to ban naturalized citizens from running for office. It's like I said, it's not limited to only an individual or a party. It affects everyone. I mean, think about, an American family story. Think about your own family, right? Unless you are indigenous, your family roots come from naturalized citizens. So we did not, fall from the moon or anywhere. So only the Native Americans, the First Nations peoples, were on this land before anyone else came. So even our founding fathers were naturalized citizens. So the founding fathers, when they wrote the Constitution, they in fact grandfather themselves and given a kind of leverage to for them to run for even president and vice president, even though they were not born, because that time the country did not exist technically. So that's the kind of thing. So the even if I'm right, George Washington was a naturalized citizen. So all these people were natural citizens. So that is the base. Those are the roots. And from there, people were born on this land and now they became naturalized, natural born. And and I don't think supermajority in Alabama, the Republican supermajority, is not going to stop there. Like the way they attacked IVF, they can say, hey, IVF born children are not natural born children, because there is no scarcity of crazy ideas from the supermajority in Alabama. So that is for sure.
Talking about, everybody comes from somewhere. My roots are Scottish Irish, so I'm sure that the reason I'm here is my ancestors were troublemakers. They were probably brawlers or drunks or something another, and they got kicked out of Ireland and Scotland and sent to America where they would hopefully, not make it in the hot climate, but somehow they did. And here I am. Um, but that's so true. Everybody, unless you're a Native American and can trace your lineage back 100% to Native Americans, you come from somewhere else. Um, this country, as flawed as its founding was, because there are definite flaws in it. When we wrote the Declaration of Independence, it said all men are created equal. The man that wrote that very phrase owned other people, um, and held them in bondage. So um, I think, defeating SB 21 is the major issue that needs to be the focus of every progressive and every citizen in the state of Alabama in this upcoming legislative session. And if God forbid it passes the legislature, Alabamians need to send a strong message at the polls next November that this kind of bigotry and hate is not tolerated. And Hanu also mentioned something else. Wes Allen is running for lieutenant governor. And if he gets the Republican nomination, which I believe is the real motivation behind this bill, I believe he's using this to gin up support in the Republican primary. Um, Alabama voters need to reject him as well. Um, I don't know if you saw this story, Hanu,
Mhm.
but Wes Allen has found voter fraud in the state of Alabama. He found 181 people that should not be registered, and a total of 25 of them have voted.
But he hasn't released the names. Did he
Yeah,
release the names?
when kind of like when the teacher asked for the proof that you actually did the homework, he's like, "Oh, I left it in my book bag, and my book bag's wet."
Yeah, yeah. Again, so the U.S. Congress, I think DOJ, someone from DOJ, I think today mentioned about uh, Alabama's MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with DOJ to to share voters list or something. So that's the first state like Alabama is trying to do. And so another thing, this is about equal rights. If they're attacking naturalized citizens of today, they're in fact attacking their own roots, their own ancestors. And now they're not going to stop there. So they can come after anyone, they can come after women, they can come after colored people, they can come after trans people, they can come after LGBTQ plus people, they can do. There is no limit to craziness from the supermajority. So that's why, my another goal is to make that we break the supermajority in Alabama, like Mississippi did, some of the other states did. Um, so we do not need a supermajority of any party. I mean, honestly, supermajority of any political party is not good for the people. It's not good for the democracy. So supermajority needs to be broken up.
And I believe, um, have an incredible opportunity this November to break that supermajority here in Alabama. We've got people like Hanu running. We've got other great candidates across the state running. We're going to break the supermajority. We're going to elect Democrats to the United States Congress, in addition to the two great Democrats we already send to Washington. We're going to hopefully elect a Democratic United States Senator. We're going to elect, hopefully, a Democratic governor. And we're going to elect Democrats to the constitutional offices as well. And we're going to break the supermajority. And I will have the great honor of walking up to Hanu next January and saying, "Hello, Mr. Representative," because he's going to get elected and he's going to represent the people of District 4 and he's going to do a good job. So if you live in District 4, you have my instructions to vote for Hanu and send him to Montgomery to be your voice. And if you're a Democrat, um, especially in the Democratic primary, you need to support Hanu in his run for State Democratic Executive Committee because he's going to be a fantastic voice on the SDEC again. He served before and did it with distinction, is my understanding of people that served with him. So please give this man your support. And we have had a first today. This is the first time anyone's ever announced on my show that they are running. I have spoken to people um, within days of their announcement of running, but this is a first of actually having someone announce on the show. Hanu, do you have a campaign website up yet?
Yeah, I have. I'm working on it. So I'm going through this process of setting up all online donations and everything. But I have my Facebook page, Hanu for Alabama, and I'm everywhere on the social media. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. So I mean, you name it. I'm almost everywhere. I'm on Reddit. Of course, you won't see my name, but this uh, news about the ban on naturalized citizens is getting a lot of traction and a lot of pushback from people around Alabama. I mean, I've been seeing on Reddit the other day, it reached 47,000 viewers. That post had 47,000 views. So that is really that's what I mean. It's going to make a difference when it comes to Montgomery, the supermajority. And one more thing, so I just wanted to say to your listeners and viewers, as a natural citizen, each one of us take an oath to defend the laws of the United States and the Constitution. So that's what we do. We go through rigorous. Thank you. Yes, we go through rigorous vetting process. We pass tests. We go through interviews. So that's the kind of thing. And the natural citizens in Alabama, we are doctors, we are engineers, we are other professionals, we are scientists, we are professors. And natural citizens are veterans too. They are currently serving in the military. So there is no limit for natural citizens to serve in any capacity. So we don't want to limit the opportunity for anyone to serve in any capacity. So, but my focus is not just on stopping this bill, and my focus is going to be um fighting against any such discriminatory, crazy bills that come up in Montgomery. So, when I'm elected to the office from District 4, so that's what I intend to do. Because this area, the words like aerospace, advanced manufacturing, pharma, or any other thing, they're not just buzzwords. I mean, they are the engines of opportunity. They are engines of innovation in this area. So there is an economic and business angle to this too. When we tie this bill and to some of the economic issues that we have, it's not looking good. The business owners, the employers, the investors, they look for stability. When they see Alabama is growing down the pipe, they don't want to risk even their own. If they have to recruit talent, the talent pipeline will be affected if this bill passes.
Well, they're building a new state house down in Montgomery, and it will be open next year at this time. And I want to see Hanu as one of the first people to serve in that new building. Uh, his opponent probably thinks that he's got a glide path to re-election and will be serving in that body. But he received an email about 8 weeks ago that he should have replied to because he's got a rude awakening coming this November in the form of this gentleman right here who's going to defeat him. So Hanu, thank you for joining us today, and couple of announcements. We have a Dr. Will Boyd coming up next week on the show. We've got John Dickey, who is running for state senate, and we've got Jack Ziblock, who is going to be on later in the week. Jack's over from Georgia, and he's going to talk about the craziness of the aftermath of Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning from Congress. And I don't want to spill the beans yet, but we are working on getting a really big guest in the next few weeks. Um, I'm in communications with that campaign, and if I can get that guest on, that would be a huge, huge get. So I will see everybody next week when we interview Dr. Boyd, who is running for governor.